students, and in this video lecture we're going to start off with a new chapter, that is the kingdom of fools. So before we start the discussion, let us quickly understand what the chapter deals with. It is believed that fools are so dangerous that only the wise people can manage them. Who are the fools in the story? What happens to them? So right now over here you've got two questions. Who are the fools in the story, and the other one is what happens to them? So by the end of the chapter you should be able to answer these two questions. So as we go through the chapter, I want you to keep in mind these two questions. Okay, so in the kingdom of fools, both the king and the ministers were idiots. They didn't want to run things like other kings, so they decided to change night into day and day into night. So this was the kingdom of fools, where the king and the minister both were idiots or fools, and they did not want to run their kingdom like other kingdoms. So what did they did? They changed day to night and night to day. Okay, meaning that all the business activities would start taking place as soon as it turns dark, and all the people of the kingdom would sleep during the day. They ordered that everyone should be awake at night till their fields and run their businesses only after dark, and go to bed as soon as the sun came up. Anyone who disobeyed would be punished with death. So it was compulsory for one and all to follow the instruction of the king. Failing to do so, the defaulter would be punished with death. The people did as they were told for fear of death. The king and the minister were delighted at the success of their project. One day a guru and a disciple arrived in the city. It was a beautiful city. It was broad daylight, but there was no one about. Everyone was asleep. Not a mouse staring means moving around. Even the kettle had been taught to sleep by the day. So everything was changed. Not only the habit of the people, but also the habit of the kettle. They were taught to sleep by the day. The two strangers were amazed by what they saw around them, and wandered around town till evening, when suddenly the whole town woke up and went about its nightly business. So the guru and the disciple, they came to the town, and they were astonished. They were surprised on seeing what they saw. During the day there was no one outside, as everyone was probably sleeping, and as soon as it started becoming dark, the people they woke up and they started off with their nightly business. The two men were hungry. Both the men were hungry. Now that the shops were open, they went to buy some groceries. To their astonishment means surprise. Okay, 1 minute. To their astonishment, they found that everything cost the same, a single dudu. Whether they bought a measure of rice or a bunch of bananas, it cost just 1 dudu. The guru and the disciple were delighted, means happy. They had never heard of anything like this. They could buy all food they wanted for a rupee. When they had cooked and eaten, the guru realized that this was the kingdom of fools, and it wouldn't be a good idea for them to stay there. This is no place for us. Let's go, he said to his disciple. But the disciple didn't want to leave the place. Everything was cheap here. All he wanted was good and cheap. So the guru and his disciple, they got hungry, and they went to the shop, and they noticed, and they were shocked on seeing what they saw. They saw that each and everything was available in the shop for just a single dudu. That is the currency. Okay, you get to get a rice, you get to get a kilogram of rice, or you get to get a bunch of bananas. Both the price of both the things were same, and they were extremely happy because it was extremely cheap. So they were were very happy. But as the guru was a learned man, so he realized that this is the kingdom of fools and they cannot last here very long. So they decided to leave the place. But his disciple, he was impressed by this by the cheap food that they were getting. So he refused to leave. The guru said, "They are all fools. They won't last very long, and you can't tell what they'll do to you next." So the guru realized that they are very fools and they won't last very long. But the disciple wouldn't listen to the guru's wisdom. He wanted to say. The guru finally gave up and said, "Do what you want, I'm going," and left. The disciple stayed on, ate his fill every day, bananas and ghee and rice and wheat, and grew fat like a street side sacred bull. So the guru left, but the disciple was there, and he was having a ball of a time. He was eating whatever he wanted because the products were extremely very cheap, and he grew fat like a bull. One bright day, a thief broke into rich merchant's house. He had made a hole in the wall and sneaked in. Sneaked in means spied in. Okay, spied in, or to broke into someone's house. And as he was carrying out his loot, the wall of the house collapsed and on his head, and he was killed on the spot. So this thief, as he was executing his robbery, the roof or the wall collapsed and it fell on his head, and he died. His brother ran to the king and complained, "Your Highness, when my brother was pursuing his ancient trade over here is referring to robbery." So the thief's brother, he went to the king and he said that when my brother was pursuing his ancient trade, a wall fell on him and killed him. This merchant is to be blamed. He should have built a good strong wall. You must punish the wrongdoer and compensate the family for this injustice. So now the thief, as this was the kingdom of the fools, so you must by now you must have realized that this kingdom is completely being ruled by stupid people. So therefore what happens next was, when the wall collapsed, the brother of the thief, he went to the king demanding justice. Imagine, you can just imagine, the thief's brother, who illegally broke into someone's house, died accidentally. His brother claims justice. So this could only happen in the kingdom of fools. So that's what is going to happen out here. So he went and he told the king about what his brother was doing, and he also told that the merchant should have built a strong wall, and the merchant is guilty because the wall built by merchant wasn't very strong. So he should demand. So his family should demand. The thief's family was demanding justice. The king said, "Justice will be done. Don't worry," and at once summoned the owner of the house, and at once called the owner of the house to look into the matter. When the merchant arrived, the king questioned him, "What's your name?" "Such and such, your highness." Were you at home when the dead man burgled your house, robbed your house?" "Yes, my lord, he broke in and the wall was weak. It fell on him. The accused pleads guilty. Your wall killed the man's brother. You have murdered a man. We have to punish you." So instead of punishing the thief, the king is so stupid that he is about to punish this merchant. And on what grounds? That the wall that he built was really very weak, therefore it fell on the man and the man died. "Lord," said the helpless merchant, "I didn't put up the wall. It's really the fault of a man who built the wall. He built it. He didn't build it right. You should punish him." "And who's this?" "And it's the bricklayer." "My lord, this wall was built in my father's time. I know the man. He is an old man and he lives nearby." The king sent out messengers to bring in the bricklayer who had built the wall, though they bought him tied hand and foot. So the thief, he complained the king. The king told the merchant, or the king summoned the merchant. The merchant told that it's not his fault because he was not the one who built the wall. The wall was built by a bricklayer. So according to the merchant, who is to be blamed? Because this is the kingdom of the fools. So now it's the bricklayer who is to be blamed for the collapse of the wall. Okay, so we'll stop here. We'll continue the next part in part 2, and by the time you go through this video, revise, and then we'll come back tomorrow with the next part of the same chapter. Till then, stay safe. Thank you.